So Tripura Rahasyam chapter 1 verse 43 onwards. So this is Tripura Rahasyam chapter 1 verse 43. As the anointing of sandal on the leg of a person whose entire body is burnt is so, the acquisition of happiness here is declared for a person having residual obligations. What are residual obligations? Residual obligations are, there are some obligations in this world that you have to do. There are no choices, What are the obligations? Now you are on the path of spiritual. Okay. Now you owe it to your spouse some things. You have to do it as an obligation only. Don't involve yourself in that matter. Okay? Which means, for the sake of continuity, you just have to do what you got to do. We are going to get a very beautiful story after this on this matter. Alright, so let us wait for the story. So Parshuram is saying that there are some residual obligations which we have to do. Like those who have joined the world of spiritual and they want to continue in the path of spiritual, but they have not left their grahastha. Grahastha means householder's life. So householder's obligations are there. So we just have to do them for the sake of doing them. The day you realize that you are not obligated to it is a day you would have grown in your life. Did you understand this? The day this realization comes to you, I don't owe it to anybody. When that obligation comes to you, you have given up your personal ego. Let us say you are staying in a big city. And every month you have to send money home. It's an obligation. So you may have your old parents over there. You may have your family over there. Something like that. So you are obligated to send money home. This will continue till you are yourself not growing in your spiritual. The day when it comes naturally to you that God is there to take care of these people, I don't have to do anything about it. I don't have to earn my living and pay these people. Because what is coming to you by grace of God. What you are giving to them is also by grace of God. So let God give directly to them. No, why should you be in the middle? You put all your focus on devotional path and just be lost in the Lord. That's it. Then you would have reason. Then your spiritual growth becomes very smooth. But this should come from within you. Please understand this. Till you are in the material world, you have to do these residual obligations. Okay? And when the call comes, the inner being says, you don't owe anything to this world. You yourself are free. You don't have to do anything for anybody. Then you will go away. I was giving you all an example where it is important to get your parents or your family's permission to become a sannyasi. If you want to leave your house and go, without the permission of your parents or whoever that is there in your family, till they themselves don't say, that you can go, you should not go. Then that is a residual obligation. Now it so happens that this comes about by the will of God. In my world, I was in spiritual. I used to do these satsangs and stuff like that. On 2006, I just told the family, I said, I am going. Is it okay? So the family that I was associated with, they said, yes, you can go. My mother willingly said, ja, go. But the rest of the people were feeling the pain. 1 year later, I made all my preparations and I left. 2007. After leaving, I was very happy that I had left. Well, I went 2007, 3 times I went and I was kicked back. I went and I was kicked back. I went and I was kicked back. So my Guruji says that no, you can't go. I said, why? But I want to. No, you have to go back to your family. So I don't want to go back to my family. I said, no, you have to go back because there is a lot of things that you got to do. And because that is where people will come. You have to teach. So I had to find my Swadharma and I had to come back and I had to do. So these were obligations on the part. Sometimes you have to do them because there are no choices. Sometimes you will be forced to do them and you have to do them. It's like Tukaram Maharaj. You know Tukaram, the great saint of Maharashtra. He used to go up the mountain and sit over there. Panduranga said to him, you can't do any of these things. You go, stay with your family till I call you. He had to do that. He would sit in the shop. Believe me, he had a big store. You know village stores, how they are? They sell everything. So this fellow had a big store. And he would sit every day in the store. But his mind was never in collecting money. I lived like this for many years myself. I used to sit in the store and I didn't know how to collect money. So one of my staff will come and they will do everything. So for me, somebody coming and asking, can I take this free? I will say, okay, take it free. So this was the condition. You can't do anything about it. So these were the obligations that were there. So they had to be fulfilled. So here the example given is of a person whose leg is burnt and they are putting chandan on it. It doesn't work. Got it? It is just a treatment which doesn't work actually. So let us see the next one. So we are doing chapter 1, verse 44, Tripura Rahasyam. As the embrace of a multitude of celestial damsels of a person whose heart has been pierced by an arrow is, so the acquisition of happiness here is declared for a person having residual obligations. Now, yesterday we were discussing about celestial damsels, if you remember. Okay? Now these are all these Rambas, Mohinis, Urvashis and all that. They come from a particular domain. Alright? They are called celestial damsels. They do all the dances and all the intoxicating things. And this is there. There is a world like that. There is a world of Gandharvas. There is a world of Kinnaras and all that. Everybody is allowed to have their own worlds. So now look at this person who is already bitten by a love bug. And now all these celestial damsels are coming. What difference is it going to make to that person? So as an obligation, that's it. So here the answer is many a times you have to do the obligations. You are bitten by the love of the God, whoever that you are praising. And if there is a husband or a wife who is interested in having, whatever that they want to, what can you do about it? You just have to go through the motions. It is just said residual obligation. You have to go through it for the sake of just being there. That's what Parshuram is talking about. Next verse 45. As the praising of by songs of a man overcome by the disease of consumption is so, the acquisition of happiness here is declared for a person having residual obligation. Now, this is very funny. Now imagine, what example he is giving, I am not giving that. Imagine you have had loose motions. Or you have terrible stomach ache or back ache or something like that. And on top of it, there is somebody who is coming and saying something nice to you. Are you focusing on what that person is saying? Somebody is saying nice to you, or you are interested in running to the toilet? So it's very funny because it's like that, somebody is saying something to you. What difference does it make? You have other important things happening in your life, You have to worry about God. You have to worry about how you praise Him, how you do. You have completely lost in love with Him. So why bother about all these other people praising you or other people saying something bad about you? Think about it like this, He says this is exactly how it is. It is a happiness. It is like the acquisition of happiness for a person with residual obligations. Okay, what residual obligations are there? Why is a person supposed to feel happy or sad about it? These obligations have to be done, no? Okay, now you are in a family. Okay, you have children, you have wife, you have husband, you have this, you have that. Everybody is there, okay, in a family. You would rather be lost in the scriptures and satsangs and all that. Now today morning satsangs are going on. Okay. There are other things also to do. Priority is you may give priority to the satsang. Huh? But your child is going to school. Or your husband is saying, have you packed my dabba or something like that, my lunch box or something. Yeah, that has to be done, no? So you will do it, but your full attention is where? Oh, the satsang is going on, I have to be there. I have to be there. So he says, what happiness are you going to have when you have to pack the dabba, that box, lunch box, or we have to send your children to school? You know what you're going to do? You're going to tell them, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let's pack our bag, let's do this, let's do that. And you are going to shove them out of the door fast. Go, see you tomorrow or see you in the evening, something like that. You got what I'm saying? There is actually no happiness there. But you are doing it because it has to be done. So this is what one more example is saying. 46. They are happy in the world who remain in the state of having no obligatory tasks. They are noble souls with fulfilled heart, calm in their entire mind and body. Yes. Now we come to the next type of a person. Not the one who has to do obligations. I was already telling you all that you have to become that person where you don't have any obligations. Even if that, now let us say, you are sending money home, okay? This is the same example I'm taking. And now you stop sending money. Because your heart is not in it. You thought that this obligation is not important. 1 month, whoever is there at home will say maybe, the person has forgotten to send. The second month it continues. They will say maybe they don't have money, that is why they didn't send. The third month you do the same thing, they will start getting angry. You know why? They will say, we are starving over here. You know very well that you are supposed to take care of us. Why is it that you are not sending money home? then you realize that these people are so self-centered. They are selfish to the core. They are dependent on the freebies that you are giving them, the free meal that you are offering. They have never lifted their finger to do anything in their life. In that regard, I consider my father, this body's father, as a very great person. I never used to have any jobs, okay? Always multiple jobs, here, there. So he told me very clearly. He said, we are not dependent on any money from you or anything like that. So after retirement, he continued working, going very far away, 4 hours journey, 2 hours going, 2 hours coming, or 3 hours. And he would earn peanuts. But he would go and he would come. Till the age of 72 or 73, I think he did that. And he never took 1 rupee from me. I myself never had any money. But he was very clear. I don't want anything from you. I am capable, I can do it. And I have provided for my wife also. So nobody is asking you. That was a noble soul. Okay? He never demanded money. He never asked for anything. But look at your own people. They demand things. Don't give them for a month and 2. They will start giving you bad words. They will call you names. They will say that it is your obligation, you have to do. It's your duty. They call it as a duty. That is why Parshuram says over here, when you rise above this, they are happy in the world who remain in the state of having no obligatory tasks. The day the realization comes to you that you don't owe it to anyone. Did you understand this? You don't owe it to anyone. You don't have to do those things at all. That day you realize how when that day comes, the happiness will come within you. He says, they are noble souls with fulfilled hearts. So even if somebody says something to you, says that you should have done this, all that kind of nonsense people do, it should not stick to you. So remember this, the day you understand these words, you are a spiritual person. You don't owe it to anybody. You don't even have to force yourself to do something. All those things which are called residual obligations fall off. I have to take care of my family. I have to take care of my children. I have to take care of this house. I have to take care of this. All these are called obligations. When in spiritual, you don't have any of those things. But you have not grown up. Got it? So when you grow in your spiritual domain, you will yourself realize that all these obligations don't exist. God has already made arrangements for those people. Many a times in a family, one person will take care of the entire family. The other person enjoys his or her own money. This happens, no? At that time, you may feel, and you may be the one giving the money. At that time, you may feel, I give, but the other person doesn't give. I give, but the other person. Well, you are a mean person then. This thought itself should not come to you. That is when you are in the material world. That means you are not full of goodness. You are full of ill will. The understanding should be, it is your duty, you have to do. Then you come in spiritual. When you come in spiritual, it is called residual obligation. It is an obligation you have to do. And never point fingers at other people. If they don't do, don't point fingers. And when you become perfect in spiritual, at that point in time, you are not bothered about anything. You just have to be completely devoid of all these obligations. Got it? We go to the next one. 47. Even when there is a remainder of obligatory task, if there can be happiness by something somewhere, then there would be the happiness born of perfumes and garlands, even in a man pierced by spear. This is the very funny part where imagine you are dying, you have been pierced by an arrow or a spear, and then you are smelling some perfume. There's one beautiful woman going from there in front, and you are saying, oh my God, she's wearing a very beautiful perfume, you know. Ah, so nice. Are you dying or are you bothered about the perfume? Your spear has gone inside your body. You are dying. You should be bothered about that, or are you bothered about that other thing? So this is called the obligatory task. The obligatory task is somebody wearing perfume and going in front of you. Got the answer? It is like you say, oh, I have to do this. Your focus has to be 100% in spiritual. What is this perfume that you are talking about? What is this thing that I owe it to my family? What is this that you keep on saying I owe it to my husband or my wife or my children or the society or this and that? Who gives a damn to you? Any which way they are calling you names. Are they not? Because you are in spiritual, they will anyway call you names. Is that correct or wrong? You are in spiritual. They have already called you, you are a useless person. Doesn't want to do anything. He just talks God, 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 God all the time. They have already ridiculed you enough. But on top of it, they are eating your money. They will say on one side and they will have your money also, and they will get all the pleasure and the happiness from you. And on top of it, they will raise their voice and say, oh, this happened. This person is like this, you know. They are allowed to say. They are idiots. They are called ignorant people. Why do you want to become ignorant like them? So, you have to perform your task, obligatory task. Now, after you come in spiritual 100%, when your inner being itself says, no, you don't owe anything to anybody, then you give up all these obligatory tasks and you become 100% in spiritual. At that, when you are 100% in spiritual, at that time, one beautiful girl passes from front. What difference does it make? Nothing. You understand what I am saying? If one person is throwing stone at you, saying that look at this person, he is earning, or he's not even sending money home, or she is not even sending money home, or she is not taking care of the old parents. You know, the old parents are dying. Why should it bother you? So this is what Parshuram is talking about. These things should not bother you. Even when there is a remainder of obligatory task, that means you understand that money has to be sent over there because they don't have food to eat. Suppose that is a remainder. It's a remainder. If there can be happiness by something somewhere, which means what? You are already pierced by spiritual spear and you are thinking about that. It's like the perfume. It should not bother you. Yeah, God is there. He will take care. I don't have to bother. I believe in the Almighty God. He has brought me to this state. I don't owe it to anybody. Let them do what they want. I know it sounds heartless for the material worldly people. You know, the material worldly people will be the first people to blame, oh, Guruji is teaching nonsense. But it is written in the books, no? These are God's books, ma. You got what I am saying? These are the truth. I am not here to refute the truth, no? I am here to tell you what is written over there. So you have to be devoid of all these obligations in the future when you come in 100% in spiritual. This is what he says. We'll continue. So we are in Tripura Rahasyam, chapter 1, verse 48. Alas, this is a great wonder that there is happiness in this world crowded with hundreds of obligatory tasks, for whose sake man surely works always. If you are going to keep on working, please understand this. When you are on the path of spiritual, many a times you have to keep on bringing money home. It's an obligatory task. Why? Because the family has to be supported. Alas, this is a great wonder that there is happiness in this world. What is the happiness? The spiritual world is full of happiness and bliss. But you have to overlook this and look at these obligations. So, crowded with hundreds of obligatory tasks. So, material worldly people who are in spiritual are going to be given the happiness on one side because you are spiritual minded person. When you are in the satsang, you are totally lost in God. But the moment the satsang is over, you are back into your material obligatory things, like, oh my God, I have to do this, I have to call up my boss, I have to attend these things, I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to cook my food, I have to send my kids to school, I have to put my, all these things are there. These are called obligatory tasks. He says that happiness on one side and hundreds of obligatory tasks on the other side, for whose sake man surely works always. Because of these tasks which are there, they are obligations in your life, you are going to work for them. You have to cook, you have to send your kids to school, you have to pack the lunch boxes, you have to yourself go to work, you are supposed to earn money, you are supposed to give family the money, you have to go on a holiday, you have to enjoy with your kids, you may go to Disneyland, Disney World, this, that, you may go for a movie, something like that you have to do in your life, no? You will anyway have to do. Your child says, I want ice cream, you have to buy the ice cream and give. Okay, so what are we supposed to do? That happiness is there, but this obligation is there. What can you do? So you have to do. So, Tripura Rahasyam, chapter 1, verse 49. What shall I say of the greatness of absence of investigation of men? Pressed by mountains of endless obligatory tasks, they obtain happiness also. Now, this is very funny statement. He says, human beings who are pressed by these kind of tasks in their world, and on the other side there is a great mountain of happiness. So what shall I say of the greatness of the absence of investigation in men? Because of these obligatory tasks, you don't do any investigation into the spiritual domain. You don't even think. You don't even investigate what is supposed to be the truth. For you, when the satsang is on, you will just be there, but after the satsang is over, there is no investigation. Why do I need to do these tasks? Why is it important that these tasks have to be performed? There is a pleasure in that task also. You know that, no? What is the pleasure? I finished finished all the work in the kitchen. I'm so happy I've cleared up the kitchen. Have you heard a woman and a man talk like this one? Yeah? I have cleared up the kitchen now. I have given everybody the food. Okay? Whatever my husband or wife has demanded, I have given it to them. They were asking for a holiday. I have taken them on a holiday. So there is that little happiness, that little glimmer of happiness is there in that task also. Isn't it? and you are enjoying that task. So what happens is, yes, I have to do it. I have to do it means I have to do it. So you're forced to do it, and when you do it, you find that little happiness in that as well. Yeah, I found happiness. What is the happiness? When I was talking about sending money home, you have sent money every month in clockwork precision. Then you feel, yes, I have done my duty. I feel happy that I have done my duty. Do you feel like this? Yes or no? That little happiness will come to you. He says that mountain of happiness is there called spiritual, and you are not even giving it one iota of knowledge, thinking about it. You are bothered about material world. So, verse 50, as the emperor strives always for happiness, exactly. So, one who is engaged in wandering about begging for alms also strives constantly. And this is the reason. When you do not investigate the happiness of the spiritual, when you don't investigate, but with these little things you become happy. I have given food to my husband and children. I have sent my wife on a very good, holiday package. Okay, I have given my children the best education. I have sent money home. Okay, I have taken out this insurance policy. These are the obligations you are doing. I have fulfilled my job in the company. I do very well. My boss is happy with me. I am performing very nicely. When all these things, they give you that little happiness, you know what you do? He says this, as an emperor strives always for happiness, you also are going to strive more and more for this. Do you get the point? When your children are getting good food, you will say, one day we will go out and have food outside to the children. Okay? When you are having relations with your husband, one day I'll try 50 shades of grey. I don't know how many understood this, but those who understood this, what do you mean by that? You want to get more happiness there. Give more happiness to these idiots. And when you are given some good, your performance is good in your company, you want to better your performance there so that more happiness comes to you. You are like that beggar in the streets. He says, wandering about begging for alms. That fellow is also striving constantly, ma. He is also a bhikari who says, give me some money, give me some money, give me some money, give me some money. And say earlier, the previous day he got 100 rupees, today he is aiming for 200. You got what I am saying? What is the difference between that beggar and you? Parshuram is talking like this. You want to give additional happiness to your children and your husband and your house, and you're sending good money to your house. You want to keep them happy. You want to make your parents happy. You want to make your surrounding happy, and happier and happier. You're striving there for becoming a beggar. Whereas this mound of happiness which is there, you have not even investigated it. Isn't it your duty to investigate this spiritual truth? Human beings, please have a look around you. All your friends, relatives, this one, that one, every person in your life is only striving till they die. Okay? In their world, they have never thought of realization. They have never thought that there is something very fine out there called spirituality. They have never thought that I don't want to be born again. They have never thought that I want to reduce my karma completely. They have never thought that they want to see God. When you are lost in the material world, where do you want to see God? Only when you want more money or more something, you are looking for God. Otherwise, you are not interested. For you, God is just a person who is going to give more. So here Parshuram is asking this question. Why is it that you are not giving importance to this, whereas you are giving importance to your material worldly life so much? You want to give more and more and more and more happiness to your material worldly people. For what reason? So I hope you all understood. So we have come till verse 50. We will stop over here.